Hi, Icy Jacob coming here to spice it up a little bit by showing you some. Here, let me get this character. Uh, Mid builds. Now, um, some mid starters, really, honestly, is what I want to talk about, is how to at least start a mid build. Because a lot of people don't do it. A lot of people I see are getting penetration second item. Sometimes hope they're trolling and they get Rod to Hootie first item, and like the other mid laner has like three items on them, and so their Rod makes absolutely no sense. But whatever. I want to I want to talk about the fundamentals of a mage build, which is power, penetration, and cooldown. Now, let's start with the actual starter items themselves. So this has been the staple mid starter items for like since beta. Vampiric Shroud. Vampiric Shroud gives you 100 HP, super strong. I spawn right now as Isis with 433 HP, so right, boom, 100 more. That's a, that's a lot of extra damage you can take. It has 20 magic power, that's decent. 5 MP5. Killing an enemy restores 10 health and 10 mana. That's a really this is a sustain oriented starter item. Now, this is really good, but I want to talk to you about the starter item that you're actually going to get, which is Soulstone. Soulstone is the strongest starter item right now, 100% of the time, because the mid meta right now is centered around pressure, and if you don't have this item, say you have the Vampiric Shroud and the enemy has a Soulstone, if they even get the slightest bit of pressure on you, and like you start losing the neutral experience, like fire elementals, you start losing things like uh, mid camps, fire elementals. They can invade your back camps because they have the pressure and you don't, because they simply have this one item. This item consists of 20 magic power. Alright, you're thinking, okay, it's the same as Vampiric Shroud. What's the big difference? 100 mana, that allows you to, I don't know, basically use your abilities more often. Or not more often, just more. 100 mana is very significant. That's literally one extra ability, which can come in clutch. But it's not really about that. It really isn't. It's about the passive. It's hitting an enemy basic, hitting a basic on an enemy. An enemy, in this sense, since it's not saying enemy god, it's actually just saying an enemy. So that could be minion, could be jungle camp, even an actual god. But any of those gives you a passive, gives you a stack. Um, this has it stacks up 5 times. Each stack is 4 MP5, right? So like you're already getting the mana sustain like tenfold from this fucking item right now. But that's not the point. It's when you get 5 stacks and you use your next ability, it adds 60 damage to your ability. Now, 60 damage when I have 600 HP is almost 1/5 of my health bar, right? So you can't make an argument that that's not significant. And like it really is. We're thinking people's like to think on the big grander scale, like, oh man, this doesn't do 600 damage right away, SMH, but like, you don't want it to do 600 damage, because if my ability did 600 damage, I'd one-shot everybody. I have 600 HP. That's disgusting. That's actually disgustingly broken. Now, so 100% of the time, you want to build Soulstone. Actually, okay, that's not fair. 99% of the time. You could make an argument for this maybe one game out of 1,000. Probably. But that's about it, honestly. So now you're thinking, when you spawn in Conquest, you get 1,500 gold. So you got this 800, so 700 gold left. Now what do you get with that? There are a lot of options, actually, believe it or not. This is where mid builds get really tricky, is the actual starting options, not really what you build into. It's mainly almost the same. It's just kind of the starting options, which are hard. Let's start with the tier 1s of every item. Let's just go over that. Tiny Trinket. You can start with this. It's very strong. 20 magical power plus this gives you people with like tick damage, like Agni, Anubis, Kukulkan. They sustain really well with this because 4% lifesteal. Lifesteal on mages is only good when you have tick damage, because you get a lot more of it rather than that single burst from one ability like a wing gust or the spirit ball. So this is fine. Imperial helmet is if like they have a Thor, Fenrir, Thanatos, something with like a lot of jungler with like a really big amount of pressure. Well, high early game damage is what we're kind of looking for with this item, because 20 physical protection right off the bat, plus the damage isn't bad too. 10 magical power is pretty a-okay, honestly. You can make up for that with the soul stone. Again, a lot of damage. Why didn't that proc right there? Yeah, I just added 32 damage. You gotta add defense mitigations, but whatever. But 20 physical protection can make or break or save your life at this stage of the game. So this is a good thing to get. Now Lost Artifact, 15 magic power, 5 MP5. Amazing, amazing item to get because it builds into all three of these, and all three of these are fine items. These are really good items. No, first off, you can't even afford that. Second off, no, because it builds into items you don't fucking want. First item, I swear, if I keep seeing kids pick this up, I'm gonna get really upset. Emerald Ring, again, 20 magic power is really good, but it has a stat on it that you really, really don't need. Attack speed. Attack speed makes no sense on like 90% of the mages. There's only like 2 mages that use attack speed, and like only one of them actually builds it. Because like, look at this. My attack aggression might be good, but my autos don't do the damage. That does the damage. And I can string it between my abilities. Like I can do that and like string it in between my abilities. So I don't really need this. This doesn't do anything. Don't ever get that. Soul Reliquary. This is one of the best tier 1 items in the game. Hands down. Hands down. Put them up. Put them up. 30 magical power. But it's 700 gold. You never, ever, ever, ever want to get something with 700 gold, because you want potions. At level 1, you need potions. You need health pots and you need mana pots. If you don't get either of those and you get poked out, you lose experience, you lose neutral experience, and the enemy team can easily snowball off that if, you're playing at a high enough level. So as much of a strong item that this actually is, don't pick this up. Boots, yes, you can pick this up if, and this is an if, you're on a very aggressive mid laner and you're looking to get really aggressive all the time. 6% movement speed. If I'm Isis and you're Scylla, you're Raw, I had this movement speed up on you, I'm able to stick with you. I'm able to stick to you. I'm able to hit those stuns. I'm able to stick to you and hit you with the spirit balls. Ultimately, getting the kills and snowballing my way, because movement speed, again, is one of the strongest stats in the game. An uncommon sash. Regardless of it having 100 extra health on it and 20 magical power, it's really good. Don't get me wrong. You need potions. Why have 100 HP for 700 gold when I could buy this for 50 and I get 250? Okay? Leave it at that. So, the next thing I want to talk about. So let's say I get... where should I start? I get this. Now, what's my next item? Do I finish this off, or do I get boots, or do I just like build another like this, because this is such a strong tier 1? Why don't I just buy tier 1s? Just the value of a tier 1 compared to a tier 3 is inefficient. It's just non-existent. There's no reason to pick up a bunch of tier 1s. It's actually kind of bad. It was a thing in the support role for a little bit of time, because they like made support like tier 1 and tier 2 items like actually not bad, but then they just nerfed it and now it's not a thing anymore. So I got this helm. I want to build into boots next, because again, if I don't have this 18% movement speed and their jungler and their mid laner does, I'm dead. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter how like big your leap is or whatever, you're dead. 100%. You need movement speed to match other people's movement speeds. At least the base 18%. You always need the base 18. Alright? Always keep that in mind. So you want to pick that up, and then you go back and you finish your first item right here. You finish that. With some small exceptions, say you're getting pressured out. Uh, you're already down like 2 kills. You're sitting under tower. You're getting pressured out so much. This will help you come a little bit back into it. It'll help you survive the ganks, but it won't help you like deal out the damage back, if that makes sense. Don't don't get me wrong. These two items are phenomenal damage together because that's a lot of flat pen. It's a lot of power, but you'll still be slightly behind. So let me solve that. I forgot to tell you about boot choices. Unless you're Kukulkan, don't get these. Kukulkan's the only mage that you can justify getting Shoes of Focus on because it makes up for the loss of damage. Now, I know what you're saying, but that's 40 magical power, and that's 45. What's the difference? It's the penetration. It's the penetration. 10 flat pen at level 5, 6, depending on how you're farming, does a lot. Like, a ridiculous amount more than you can even imagine. So this is a 9 times out of 10 build. You can get this, never this, or this. Never those two. This whole half is support shoes over there. Go away over there. These are for everybody else. So now that I have your shoes of the Magi, and okay, this time let's say I have a lost artifact. Now, unless you're going into a Doom Orb, which is okay, it's actually one of the few choices you can get. You kind of want to get your power item, which again can be Doom Orb. So again, the basics of any mage build is power, penetration, movement speed. Basically that. I want and cooldown, duh. I want power, I want cooldown, I want penetration, and I want the movement speed for my boots. So you want to build into one of 3, maybe 4 items if you're feeling like really overzealous, or you're feeling like you have musky or whatever. You want to build into a Doom Orb, which is when you build this item when you're ahead. You don't build this item when you're even, unless you're like a late game carry and you want this 140 magic power to like lift you out of the early game, kind of. But you're kind of a sitting duck, and people are gonna camp you if you have this item. It's not a safe item. You lose half of your power when you die, so people are gonna camp you, and they get like a reward for camping you. So you wanna do your best to avoid it. Is what I'm trying to say. But again, don't listen to me. It's okay sometimes. Again, this counts as a power item. This isn't really what you want. This is more of a utility item. If you build into a tiny trinket, you can build into a Bancrofts as your power item. It's only 100 magical power, but at the same time, it's like it has a good passive kind. It has a clutch passive. Actually, it's not the best passive. It's more of a clutch passive again. It works really well with tick based gods. Not the best choice. The best and safe choice to get is if you have Lost Artifact, you go into Shoes of the Magi. You want to get Book of Thoth, right? Now the Book of Thoth is the safest option out of the power you can get, because you don't want this at like, I mean, I guess you could argue for this, but you won't get the full maximum effect because 10% of somebody's maximum HP when they have 700 health is like 50 HP. So your Soul Reaver proccing every 45, or is it 40? 40 seconds. Okay, every 40 seconds does extra 40 damage, and it costs 300 more gold. Whereas you want to build like cheaper items to get yourself ahead and buy those luxury items, like the Soul Reaver, like the spear, kind of sometimes, like the Rada Tehuti, the luxury power items that are really going to help you deal out that damage. So now you have your book. Now you can go back, unless you built into this, and then you can build this second, and then go into a book. Again, mid lane is the hardest lane. It's not the hardest lane to coach, but it's the hardest lane in terms of builds. Honestly, it really is. Because mid laners have the most variety of builds, so it gets really tricky and complicated. It My thing is, if you can justify it, but your justification isn't retarded or stupid, and it makes absolutely no sense from like a high level perspective, then I'll let it slide. I'll let it pass. So I got this. Now I can finish this and go to CDR. But if I'm a even, if I'm behind, I want to get the CDR because CDR being the strongest stat in the game, throwing off enemies' timers of like, oh, he ulted 50 seconds ago, so it's probably not back up. But oh, haha, I have Chronos Pendant. It actually is up. Like, stuff like that. It kind of tricks out your opponents a little bit. They don't really expect it. Like, oh, dude, he just used that. That usually means they're not paying attention to the clock. Always watch the clock up here. When you see somebody ult, you kind of, it's hard because you're probably in a panic mode because they're going to be ulting at you, but you kind of want to look at the clock at the same time as they're ulting. The base to every mage's ult is 90 seconds, so every minute and 30 seconds, you just want to be kind of watching that and like, oh, it should be about up now, or, when you played the game long enough, you just kind of get a feel for it, if that makes sense. So, I can build into this Chronos Pendant right now, but if I'm even or ahead, or, I value buying penetration third item a little bit more. Um, Again, 90% of the time you're going to build into an obsidian shard unless you have like an Ao Kwong uh, or somebody else who can really benefit off of like having this extra like penetration. Because this is technically more pen, but this is more burst pen, if that makes sense. This does shred protections more, but this is a lot more bursty, and so it's better if like you're the only mage on the team, and like you don't need Spear the Magus if like, oh dude, but I have a guardian. Like, no, you don't need it. Just stop. So you pick up this. Not ever really this, unless they have like 3, 4 mages. If they have 3 mages, you can pick this up, or like 2 guardians and a mage, that you can pick this up. That's actually one of the strongest things you could pick up in that scenario. And this is again a luxury item. You don't want to get luxury items until like 5th or 6th slot in your build, because you want that core. You want the core. You want the movement speed and the power and the penetration, and even probably the cooldown before you get the luxury like extra power. You want to like when you build a building, you don't like start with the roof. You start with the foundation and you build yourself back up. That's the perfect example I can give you. You don't want to like build a roof and then like mess up the foundation and you have this perfect roof, but then like it's all wobbly and messy and it just crumbles down on you. You just don't want that. So now that I have my pen coming here and make cooldown, this item's almost 100% needed in every mage build. And then 5th item is typically 100% of 98% of the time Rada Tehuti. Gigantic power spike being 125 magic power, plus the passive gives you an increased magic power by 25%. So this item actually gives you 150 magic power right off the bat, plus it adds all the rest of it up and gives you even more for a giant power spike. So I like one-shot him with my Spirit Ball. Now I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to auto him. See the difference? I did the exact same thing. It took me 3 extra autos. Whereas I could kill him, whereas I could pick this item up, kill him, and then switch targets. You know, boom. Now I switch targets to somebody else in a team fight. That's why you want that item. That's why you want the burst. That's why you don't want like defense and utility for like most of the time. It's because you want to just burst people and switch targets. That's the whole point of team fights. Last item, again, it's a luxury situational item. None of these. None of these sixth item. None of these sixth item. I don't care. This is a third item thing if you're like Poseidon. None of these. You can get at this point this is strong, a lot of defense, a lot of power, which again, this is the strongest hybrid item in the game right now. This is a item you sell late game for something else better. This is an item you'd want. That's an extra 120 magical power plus the pen. It's dirty. You can get this, or if you want to really, really, really burst somebody, you get the Soul Reaver. Because at this stage in the game, oh, here, level 20, you have 2,000 HP. 10% of 2,000 is a lot of damage. I'll tell you that right now. So I'm sitting here at 1,700. I'm going to hit him with a full range Spirit Ball. Boom. That is all of his HP. Right? That's a Soul Reaver proc. The Soul Reaver did 75% of his health. Oh wait, let me sell it and buy it again so I get the passive back. Wait for it. So again, it's the very tip. Boom, 900 damage plus 54 more. It's the 54 was the Soul Reaver proc, but since this guy's level 1 and can't die or technically take damage, it didn't do much. Let's test it on the raw this time so you can see the raw damage that this item actually has. I'm gonna go kill myself. Alright, so yeah, that was something. There we go. 900 damage plus 200 more. Yikes. That's not even an ult. That was a regular ability. Well, I hope this helped you a lot. Oh, actives. Beads Aegis. That's it. You buy Beads Aegis. If you buy anything else, you're dumb. No meditations, no sunders unless you're trolling, no shells, no phantom. Beads Aegis. Every single time. Every single time. Well, I hope that helped you a little bit. I mean, I know it did me. I wanna start doing more. I'm going to expand my horizons and do like ADC and solo. I'm not the best solo laner, but my friend is. So I'll just spectate. But I know how to play it. That's the difference. So I'll just like spectate his games. I'll show you guys how to do it, or how he does it, and explain why he's doing every single thing. I play hunters very well, so I'll be able to do hunter videos or ADC videos soon. My jungle's okay. My mid lane's fine. So I'm going to expand my horizons a little bit past supports for right now, unless anybody requests it. Or anybody has any questions about anything. I can literally answer any question about this game at all. And make an entire like 30-minute tutorial on it just for you. I really, really, really hope this helps. Like, comment. Don't subscribe because I'm a shitter. So... that's Icy Jacob here, telling you guys, peace.